After a huge midweek result against Brighton, that's got to be put in the rearview mirror and we got to focus on tomorrow and Brentford. Each game gets bigger and bigger. Welcome to your preview for Brentford versus Nottingham Forest. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you are well, and welcome to your preview. And this, ladies and gents, is of huge importance and huge significance, and everyone needs to unite. Whether you are a happy clapper, a happy slapper, Cooper in, Cooper out, Cooper shake it all about. Right now, the objective that we can all agree on is that Forest need to stay in the Premier League. And let's focus on that until 5 p.m. on Saturday. And let's see which way the cookie crumbles, because this match has huge permutations. If Forest don't get a point out of this game, we are back into the bottom three, come what may. If Forest do get a point, maybe even a win, then we are sniffing the asshole of survival and it's gonna smell sweet. It's getting closer and it can be done, and the players need to keep up the fight. We're gonna get into all of that in a second. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And speaking of huge fights and huge ambition, our friends at Football Prizes have a framed, signed Ryan Yates shirt. Those tickets have been going like absolute hotcakes. If you want to be in for a chance to win that, hit on the link in the description below. There's also an Insta prize of a signed Captain Serge Aurier shirt, and another Insta prize win on a signed team shirt as well. So many Insta prizes. Massive thank you to Football Prizes for hooking up all those deals together. They've listened to what you guys have wanted and have set it up. So go grab your tickets as quickly as possible. The link's in the description. And very quickly, don't forget 83% off Surfshark. That brings it to you with an extra 3 free months of protection for your US Netflix, for your IPTVs, for all your internet security as well. All right, let's get into this. Loads to talk about. Let's start with the injuries. Okay, Steve Cooper has today confirmed that Nico Williams has broken his jaw and his season is done. We wish him nothing but a speedy recovery. I mean, it didn't look that bad. It looked like Johnson, from where I was looking at it, caught him in the chest, but clearly he caught him higher up. And wow, the pictures I've seen today are horrific in terms of the injury itself. I'm sure Jono himself's feeling bad about it. We all are. So we wish him from FFTV a healthy and speedy recovery. But he has tweeted, so we know Nico Williams is, back conscious and back talking and has all his senses, etc. So that's good to see. But he is definitely out. Cooper talked about 2 other players in terms of injuries, and he used the old Crypto Cooper stuff. He talked about Niakate and he talked about Awoniyi. Now, I am certain Awoniyi is fine. He talks about how he took a fall on his shoulder. I saw that fall, man. After about 5 minutes, to me, it looked like an impact fall. I mean, I ain't no medical expert, but from where I stood, he looked fine. I think that's Cooper just trying to play some mind games. Niakate is the interesting one. Is he going to do another magic sponge with him and bring him back on board? He said that basically, as we discussed on Grumpy Old Reds yesterday, anytime he feels a twinge, they've basically told him to hightail it off the pitch. And it looks like he just felt a twinge and they're waiting on the scan and the results. I reckon those have already happened. I reckon he can play on Saturday. Had there not been a midweek game, I think he would have played. That's just my assessment. I think Niakate will be on the bench and Worrell will start. We'll get into the whole team news in just a second. And of course, there was the discussion on Shelvey and where things stands between him and Cooper. Clearly, there's been some words said. Again, I don't care. That's all well and good. But clearly, they have kind of kissed and made up, it seems, as he is back in contention. Potentially, there was talks that he had a knock midweek, the calf strain that we spoke about on the previous episode. But potentially, Shelvey could be making an appearance back on the team. I don't want him to. We'll talk about what I want to see in the team in a second. But look, with those injuries said, we are getting thin again at the back. The back is really looking thin. If Niakate is out, then we have only 2 fit centre-backs in the shape of Worrell and in the shape, well, we get 2, don't we, with Felipe? He's that good. But outside of that, man, we are looking thin. Potentially, is that going to force Cooper to step away from a back 3 and into a back 4, which I think is what we need to do. Again, we'll talk about it in just a second when we have a look at the predicted team sheets. Other things to concern ourselves with is our Brighton, we've already dealt with Brighton, are Brentford on the beach or not? In the position they are, they still can get European Conference League, Europa League, I think Champions League is out of the equation. The question is, how badly do they want it? And will they be playing like they're on the beach? I don't think they are. And I think they still will treat this as a competitive match. They just beat Chelsea 2-0 on the day, I think, that we beat Brighton. So it's going to still be all to play for on this one. And I think Cooper wants a point out of this. And I think I would take a point out of this, but it was very cleverly worded in his press conference towards the end, where they talked about how many points he would be targeting out of the game. For me, the way he worded it sounded like setting up for a point is what he's going to be doing. Does that mean low block football, though? Let's get into it and let's start having a look at the teams. All right, guys and girls, let's have a look at what I think the predicted team should be. I'm not convinced by it, but I kind of think we might get it. And I like the look of this team, apart from 1 or 2 tweaks that I personally would make. So I've put it in the 4-3-3. Now, I have been hugely impressed with Danilo. To be honest, we knew he was going to be this good when we signed him. We bigged him up on this channel. All of us did. We had Dino doing the assessment on him for the high press part of the channel, and he clearly showed that he was a box-to-box player. And a lot of people thought he was coming in as a CDM, but that's clearly not the case. Now, I said he couldn't shoot for toffee, so what the hell do I know? Because his finish was fantastic. What I didn't know is he's 5-star weak foot, man, because I thought he was left-footed. But anyway, for me, the point I'm making here, Danilo and Mangala have got pure energy in that middle, that you could play him as a 2 instead of a 3. But I was really impressed with Czech Kyoto when he came on in the second half against Brighton. And I would use him again, and I'd put them in a 3 against Brentford. And I do think we can overpower Brentford's midfield because they tend to play usually in a back 3. We'll show you their team in just a second. Now, in terms of the front 3, I feel it's way more balanced when Awoniyi is playing because we have that big target man who has learnt how to back into defenders and really rough them around and use his physicality. And what we need to see more of is Johnson back out wide on the right, allowing and stretching the opponent's defense. Since he's been playing this more middle role, I feel it's taken a bit of his game away. And I want him back out wide, touching the white line almost, and just making sure he's stretching out that defense. Now, the problem with this, it forces Morgan Gibbs-White out onto the left. I'd be happy, especially away from home. You guys know I love MG Dub. But I feel his performances at home, for whatever reason, are better than his performances away. And I actually would consider having Dennis in that left position ahead of Morgan Gibbs-White, because I personally feel MG Dub's best position is in the 10 and at home. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel about it. In terms of the back 4, although I have a sneaking feeling Niakate is fit, I don't think he will be risked because he's played a midweek game. Had we not played since last weekend, I think you'd see Niakate in ahead of Worrell. So I've flipped the centre-backs round. I've put Felipe on the left side, Worrell on the right-hand side, although we did see Worrell deployed on that left-hand side against Brighton. And honestly, I've had a lot of criticism to give Worrell this season, but credit where credit's due. He had a fantastic game against Brighton. And to be honest, he's got Felipe next to him. He's got one of the world's best defenders. I think still he could cut into most teams. Felipe could go as high as you want up on the Premier League and tell me what team you would stop at. He's better than Gabriel at Arsenal and they're top of the league. I'd put him in ahead of him. He'd slot right into that Arsenal team, 100%. He's better than Holding, who's covering for Saliba while he's off. So don't tell me the likes of Felipe couldn't get in to some of these higher up teams. Spurs, 5th in the league. or 7th now, wherever they are. Atrocious back three. He'd get into there, no problems at all. So with Worrell having a quality player like Felipe next to him, he's doing the right thing now and learning from him. Where I fear with Worrell is when he hasn't got that experience around him and he's the one who needs to lead the back line. That's where we see the mistakes happening. So I do feel safer and more comfortable when he's got the main man Felipe next to him. And obviously Lodi, as we have said on this channel from day dot, is world class. And I'm going to use the word world class. The way he's developed, adapted into a new language, into a new country, into a new everything, new kid. And he still puts in the performances he does. And the fact he was questioned at the start from certain groups just cracks me up. It really does. Look at the quality performances he's putting in now. He has to be signed up if we survive. And then Aurier, what do we need to say about Aurier? Captain, leader, sergeant with the armband. Fantastic leader for me. My only concern about the back five is Navas. Navas, as I keep mentioning, he is world class and crap within the same match. His parrying has to stop, man. Or at least parry it behind for a corner. It's amazing how he has the ability to pick out an opponent's striker every single time with those parries. And they're costing us. But at the same time, he's saving us. Some of those saves, it's outrageous that he's made them and they should be goals. But this was what we said about Navas when we signed him. You're going to get the rough with the smooth, with the amazing, with the oh my gods. That's what you get with him. For me, this is the team I would go with. I like the shape. I like the formation. I love that midfield three and the energy that would bring. With Yates still out, I think that's what we should do. However, will Cooper back off from a back three now because Nico Williams is injured? And I personally feel his default, comfortable state, his equilibrium is a back three. But without Nico Williams there and a lack of centre-backs, it may actually work in our favour and force him in to the 4-3-3. And let's face it, most of our results this season have come from a 4-3-3. Let me know what you think about that team. Let's have a quick look at the Brentford team. All right, I'll be straight with you guys. When it comes to my Saturday afternoons, the first team that I want to watch after Forest is by no means Brentford, man. I don't know. I find them quite... not a boring team to watch, just not, I don't know how to explain it. They don't float my boat in terms of the team that I want to watch in my spare time. However, it doesn't mean I don't respect what they do. They're a great team, a great outfit. They've gone about things in the right way. Very similar setup to how Brighton have progressed as well. I wish them all the success, but in my eyes, I don't see them as a traditional Premier League team. Brentford fans, sorry. It's probably only about two of you, so if I've upset you two, I do apologise, but hey, facts are facts. Anyway, in terms of their team, obviously everyone knows about Bet365 Tony, and he is a class act of a striker. I'd have loved us to sign him all those years ago when he was leaving Peterborough. And I do worry about him, but I'm not that worried about him. It depends who he pairs himself up against. Will Felipe take charge of him or will Worrell take charge of him? That to me dictates a lot of what could happen. In terms of the midfield, Onyeka is a player, Onyeka is a player that I admire a lot. I think he's a great holder. He can control a game. And we need Coyote or Mangala or Danilo to really kind of nip at their feet. What you're going to notice is like Visser, he's probably going to drop in a little deeper and play almost that false 10 into a striker position. But there is space that we can occupy. And because they like to traditionally play with a 2, that midfield 3 works as a unit going up and down. It can sometimes create spaces in between the lines that we need to exploit. Get the words out your mouth, man. And then you've got their wing backs. Henry, I really do like. They do kind of get up and make it into a 5 for midfield. We could get flooded. And the key for that is our left and right backs pushing up and helping to pin theirs back. The key thing to remember with Brentford, they are not a possession-based team. They are a better counter-attacking team than a ticky-tacky kind of team. And this is where this could play into our favour come tomorrow. Because we're obviously going to give them the ball. It's no secret that Forest are not a possession-based team. If you had our possession from the Brighton game and the Liverpool game, we still wouldn't even reach 50%. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So we know that Brentford will be given the possession. The question is, are Brentford used to it enough to know what to do with the possession when they have it? And that is going to be the question that needs answering tomorrow afternoon. What do you guys think of that one? To solely focus on Ivan Toney would be a mistake. You basically just give Felipe that role and you let Felipe deal with him. And then the rest of it, we will deal with. I honestly do feel, and I said it yesterday on the stream, maybe I'd had too much happy clappy juice. I don't know. But I just feel like Forest aren't going to lose another game this season. Let me get some more in me. Now, am I stupid to say that? Of course I am. Of course I am. But I'm nothing more than a fan, man. I can say stupid, outlandish things like that. Maybe some of you feel like that. And maybe some of you are looking at me like, you are crazy, bro. Chill. And, you've gone from feeling that you won't get another point to winning a point, to winning every point. This is what it's like to be a fan. I'm sure you've all experienced the ups and downs, the flip-flops, the left, rights, and centers. But I still stand by what I said at the start of the video. Let's save our critiquing and our thoughts for 5 p.m. on Saturday. Let's see where we are. Can the boys keep the fight going? They've shown fight against Liverpool. They've shown it against Brighton. They have to now show it against Brentford. I feel like the mood in the camp is good. I feel like they're starting to Ted Lasso style believe, man. Believe. And we need to believe as well. But this game is huge because I'm telling you, it could be like a balloon that pops. If we go to Brentford and they beat us or tonk us, the balloon will pop and we're right back where we were before the Brighton game, in the bottom 3 and in huge, huge danger. I don't feel that's going to be the case. Maybe it is the happy clappy juice going to my head. I don't care right now. All I care about is that Forest survive. And then all the other debates and the bickering and the in-house arguments and all that, they can happen in the summer. But let's just get Forest over the line and do what we can. Get your thoughts in down below. What do you think the score will be? For me, I think I'm going to take a 1-1 draw on this one. I'd love 3 points. Imagine we beat Brentford and then we go and beat Southampton. That's 36 points. We're pretty much done. I'll leave you guys with that thought. We'll be back on the Predictor League very shortly, probably about 5:30 UK time. So make sure you tune in for that. But 2 wins, 36 points. Forget a party stream. It'll be party time. Come on, you Reds.